important to enforce using some of these conditional access policies? Like, is it MFA, groups, objects, or like apps,
So
or what?
that's always all right. So talking about conditional access policies, I am an MSP, so I can say this: MSPs suck at conditional access. Like we do too. Well, our MSP has created a standard that we now force apply to all of our clients.
So,
But
let me just stop you right there and say,
sure.
why is it that MSPs suck, or anyone is going to suck at a conditional access policy?
It is a super complex if-then type of policy statement. So people often forget about to look for the gaps in that. If you're saying, if someone has logged in from location A, which I trust, then the logon is allowed. And that's absolutely all right. But in these days, that kind of stuff like geofencing or having trusted locations or these kind of things, they're just no longer working because the hackers are just as smart as you. They're coming from either locations local to you, or they're coming from, or they're logging into the machine of the client themselves. They hack their machine, and then you can have a trusted or allowed location all you want, but they can use the token that's already on that machine, so they don't even need to log in anymore. And conditional access is able to protect against all of that. But what I always recommend is having a simplified conditional access configuration. You enforce multi-factor authentication for all users in one policy, and you have no exclusions. That's a very hard statement, because a lot of people, especially like people in chat, will say right now, yeah, but what about my scanners? What about my printers? What about all of these other solutions that don't support MFA? As an MSP, you should draw a hard line in the sand sometimes and say, if it doesn't support MFA, we can't support it. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you have to just say, if it doesn't support multi-factor authentication, which is the most default thing that should exist right now, you're seeing a lot of rumors saying MFA has been circumvented. I even saw an MSP today in our CyberDrain community chat saying, I'm no longer going to deploy MFA because it has been circumvented. It still stops 99.9% of the attacks. It still does. It's still like locking your door normally, but it just because something gets circumvented in 0.1% of the cases doesn't mean you shouldn't implement it. So that's one of the most standard things that I would recommend every MSP to start doing today.
Did you tell Microsoft to do that for their legacy emails?